144. Let me say it again, the 144, 1212 just passed. That was a knock knock on the door of the 144 because 1212 is cyclical completion times cyclical completion, hence the 144. I greet you always in the love that lights the truth from my heart to yours, celestial earth here in this divine energy essence, really divine, under the rain. As soon as I sat out here, the rain just came pouring down. It kind of light up a little bit, but it was pouring down and reminding me of the purge that is the purification that is happening, which, you'll see that short that I did. So I just decided to come on and do a live because I haven't done a Saturday night live in a while. And life has been lifing, been sitting in the void. So I said, let me see which one of my late night vibers may be up right now at this time. Some of you may not get this till the next day, but I know we have some of you that are in Central Time, Mountain Time, and even Pacific Time. So you're hours behind. So this is right on your time clock. So sharing with you all the purge, the purification, going into a little bit more detail of what's happening as we're purging, because the energies are really passing through. It's for us to really do a lot of the releasing and what is passing through. Peace, love, and light. Welcome in. Night, night. But it's what I want to speak to us about is a lot that has been, going through my mind about it, and what we're seeing and what we're feeling and what we're sensing with these energies and these frequencies. And a lot of it is having us move out of our own way. We have to suspend. And when I said this to someone, they were like, suspend? How do you suspend yourself? But we have to suspend from our regular thought because the ego is always in the way. The ego, meaning the misappropriated ego, our ego is hardwired to protect us. But we have to be willing to put those thoughts, those concerns that we normally had, because there's no room in the inn, right? There's a birthing coming through right now. This is the birthing of Christ. This is what that story usually is about. And I'm not talking about a story that they put in the book. I'm talking about the story of you, our Christ consciousness that is coming more online. And so with that, it's saying there's no room in the inn for all of that other junk, the other stuff that we've been carrying, the unhealed wounds, like the way the frequencies are moving. It's like the densities on this earth are breaking up, and we are on this earth. So the densities that we carry, the densities that are within us are breaking up. Ashe? And so we can't carry it with us. And one of the things that I heard while listening to, for those of you who may know, Stefan Burns, a geophysicist, whatever it is, he got a long list of things. But he's really good at not just scientifically understanding the astronomy, the stars, the placements of where everything is, but the spiritual connection, the cosmology of it. And one of the things that he mentioned, and this is how I know where spirit is giving a message, he mentioned, and let me see if I can remember it the way he said it, but he mentioned solar velocity, the solar wind's velocity. As the solar wind's velocity, meaning for those who don't know what solar winds are, that is when the sun is releasing its coronal mass ejections, as they call it, the CMEs. And when it releases it, it comes towards Earth within about a day or two. It takes about a day or two, sometimes maybe 3 days, to actually reach the Earth. And the solar winds is the information. It's the light. It's the light that's coming off of the sun. The charges, the electromagnetic frequencies that comes through and hits our ionosphere, our ionic sphere, and all of that. And so when it does, and this is a key thing that I heard him say, when solar wind velocity turns up, right? The density on the earth goes down. Let me say that again. When the solar wind velocity goes up, the density, earth density goes down. And that said a lot. And as soon as I heard that, I had to pause, because as soon as I heard that, I was looking at something that was also coming up, another video that was saying the collapse of 3D density. And that is the third dimension shadows that are collapsing. And so if we could just pause and pay attention to that, because the solar winds that come, it affects us all, and it's bringing the light codes, the acceleration of the light. And remember that the sun is our what do I call it again? Observer? Not observer. Our server. There you go. The sun is our server. Like how Chrome is our server on the computer. The sun is our server of the photonic light that is coming from the galactic center, which is where the third eye atlas cosmic messenger is coming from. They don't say galactic center, but they show you the galactic center, and then they'll say that it's coming from out of where Sagittarius, the alignment of Sagittarius, in which Sagittarius points its arrow to the galactic center. Sagittarius leads us into the galactic center, and specifically on the 27th. See, look at that. 2 and 7 is a 9. On the 27th of December is said to be when we are really in alignment. See, I ain't lie. When we are in alignment with the galactic center. So I'm just piecing all of this together for us now as we are in the midst of this bifurcation bridge, as we are in the midst of this divergence. Everything that is happening now is accelerating the divergence for us to come into a convergence. Everything is going to be coming into place, but it has to, break apart. It's like I'm hearing Tupac in my head. After it hit, it breaks apart, then back to one piece. So things are hitting us right now so that we break apart to come back to one piece, like a Glock. I don't know if that's what the Glock do, but that's what the song that he was saying, and the song is about a gun. So it's just funny how it's like I'm hearing it like that. We break apart to come back. And the reason why we break apart is not for punishment. No. The purge is not a punishment. And we often think of that. It's like, oh no, it's a purge. And for me, I'm so aware of these purges now. When they come, I'm like, yes, another purge. Another opportunity to let go some more baggage, because it can't go. As we are going into the 5th dimension, we can't take it with us. We cannot take this baggage with us, whatever that baggage is. And what's happening, for us to understand what's happening with these densities, is the more that the light codes are hitting and breaking up the dark matter chatter and breaking up the density in the earth at the lower vibrations, it is making it less tolerable. That's why a lot of us are getting more irritable and less patient and things like that. And it's not bad. It is for us to be more aware. It's because of things that we could tolerate before with more density, when there was a certain level of density that was here, so we could tolerate a lot more. But now, with so much light that has been pouring into the planet, so many of us who have been activating the light grid, local light grid activation, long distance light grid activation, for those who have been activating. And remember, for those of you who remember when I've said, when you work on yourself, you start to flicker on the light grid. Right? You don't have to be in an actual group, but it does help when you find your soul tribe and you all start to reflect and do things together, and you do work together. That's why I know every time I'm doing a workshop, it is activating something on the light grid, because it is divine synergy. Because synergy is that collective energy. And so that divine synergy, that collective energy, begins to amplify the light grid and activate. That's light grid activation. So whether you're doing it in a group or individually, when you start to do that, we charge the light grid. We open up these different portals in the light. We become more portals of light ourselves as the light infuses with us, as we infuse with the light on the light grid, and light channels through us. And the more the light has clarity, the more the light channels through lightning, right? Lightning is the evidence of this electromagnetic charge that is channeling through the atmosphere, you know, onto the earth. So the more that we clear that up, the more we have clarity, the more we are accessing these timelines, or how we shift the timelines. And that light is what, okay, let me stick to this point that I was making. When more of that light is pouring through, it's less tolerance for the densities, not out of anger with us, not for punishment of us, but because it simply can't go. It can't hold that gravity any longer, because the light is so light right now. It just can't cross over. So the things that we could hold before, when the earth was in more densities, we had room to get away with a little bit more of deception with ourselves, denials, and things like that. We could pack things away and say, oh, maybe not right now. Maybe that's not as bad as I thought. You know, we could fool ourselves a little bit more now, or we could stay in certain relationships a little bit longer. We can stay in certain jobs a little bit longer because it allowed us the space, because we were in that density, and that density could hold the weight. But with all this light, this influx of light that has been pouring into the planet, and it's been breaking up all the dark matter, you know, activity, and just the density, it doesn't hold that gravity anymore. It can't. So this is what's being stripped from us as we incline, as we move more, because we're on that incline. The ascension is an incline. And it's like whatever we've been carrying in our backpack, those heavy rocks, those burdens, those stories that we've been telling that held weight previously, we can't walk with it. And that's what's being pulled from us. So the things that are happening to us, that is really happening through us, so that we can have awareness of what it is that we've been carrying, because we can't walk with it anymore. It's like we're going to hit this screen, this brick. Greetings, greetings. And feel free to chime in. This is why I do the live. This is why I have the live. So anyone who is seeing any of this, feel free to, you know, throw in your comments, throw in what you see that may be happening, you know, for you and through you. And right now, this is very pivotal. And so the bifurcation is really, really, it's splitting. As I was telling someone earlier, it's splitting, but it's also a bridge for those who can see the bridge, and for those who can be the bridge. There are light warriors. There are ones like myself, like others who are leading the way, pioneers of the fifth dimension. As I said, I've been pioneering 5D since 2022. Right? Just getting certain informations of, okay, it's time to go. Like I do 5D Independence every year, February 2022. That was when it first started. And I continue to carry that because I know eventually the collective is going to catch up. I do it here. If you check any of my old videos, you can look up, you could put in 5D Independence, and it'll probably take you back to one of my first videos from around that time, and where it was like actively happening, where I was getting active downloads from, I guess you could say, the Pleiadians. I wasn't really that in tune with knowing what it was. Somebody actually had to tell me, like, you have a Pleiadian connection or an Arcturian connection. So whatever, you know, I can't say I hear them whispering in my ear, but when I get into a certain meditation, the information comes and I transcribe whatever is happening. So I share that, you know, I've been sharing it since then with you all then. And so every now and then we have these purges, and this is one of those times where we're definitely having it. You know, if no one doesn't know, if you don't know, if you don't know me by now, that's what I feel like the energies is saying. If you don't know me by now, if you didn't get your 2020 vision by now from 2020, right? I'm not going to say you never going to know, but if you don't know, this is where knowing it's half the battle. So the 6 months between September and March, where the cosmic messenger is on it's on our ecliptic plane, on an ecliptic path. And if it's on an ecliptic path, it has every much to do with our lunar nodes, because our nodes, north node, south node, is affiliated with our ecliptic plane. That's why every time we have an eclipse, it has to do with where the nodes are. So the last eclipse we have a north node in Pisces and south node in Virgo. The last eclipse, solar and lunar eclipse we had, was in September, when we had the solar eclipse in, I believe it was Virgo, and the lunar eclipse in Pisces. And the next one, 6 months from then, will be in March, when we have the lunar eclipse in Virgo and the solar eclipse in Pisces. And so it is really amplifying, activating where it is guiding us to go. Believe me, the cosmos are very much intertwined. This is from the celestial into the earth. And so there's so many ways that it's highlighting to us. Ever since it came into view, since September, it's begun. The cosmic messenger started to make its connections with our personal planets first, which was Venus and Mars. Mars first, then Venus. And there was a switch that was happening with them. And then after engaging with our personal planets, which is the masculine and feminine, look at how what it represents. So it's activating the masculine, feminine energies in us. Also the receptive, creative activity, because that's what the masculine, feminine energy is, right? Universally speaking, because in the universe, it knows no gender. We label it masculine, feminine, to get an understanding of what is truly the receptive and creative activity. Receptive being feminine, creative being masculine. So that was being engaged, and then it went on to pass closest to the sun, which was the perihelion that we had. And then it amplified more. Yes, duality. It is activating. When it passed those, it was amplifying the duality, the harmony. But it was, most importantly, on a deeper note, if you probably see, I did the videos on that too. On a deeper note, it is bringing us, when it passed Mars, the information that was engaging, it was to bring us into a maturation to the Mars energy. The Mars maturation, which is study war no more, right? Which is to be in the wisdom that is wise enough to not have to fight the way that we've been fighting. The way the war is going to be waged is within, knowing that the battle is within, and that everything needs to be done within you, to know yourself enough to have the wisdom to know the difference, so you can know what to do and what not to do, and what to stand firm in and say, no more of this. This is not about fighting like, oh, we not gonna have that, so we gonna fight it out. We really don't have to have this war, so to speak. There is a revolution, but the revolution will not be televised, because why? It's happening in here. Ashe. So that was the maturation for Mars, and then the maturation for Venus is seeing beauty in everything. And I don't mean superficial beauty, I mean divine beauty. When you can see beauty in everything, you are really opening your crown chakra, because you see no opposition, and it gives the ego, it allows you in your crown chakra to be detached from the ego, to not have any ego attachments. When you have ego attachments, you have your own personal preferences, and then it blocks you from seeing beauty, truth, and goodness. So the maturation of Venus is to see beauty in everything. And so It would be in relationships, as Venus rules relationships and finances, and seeing the beauty in them, which allows you to see the truth in them, which allows you to see the goodness. And it's not the way that we think they are. A lot of what's happening now, we're being broken open so that we can expand, we can have a heart expansion so that we can communicate through coherency of the heart. Everything is vibrational. And so we're being guided into that. And the cosmic messenger, as it's passing through our path within these 6 months, it's very important that we get some of this, if not all, or as much as you can, at least get some of it, because it is definitely decoding. It is awakening dormant codes in us. Some of us are accessing our ancient DNA, like DNA activation on 10. So this is the what's happening as it's passing through. Ooh, hiccup. And when it passes Jupiter, it's going to bring us into a spiritual maturation, because Jupiter is that expansive wisdom. It expands everything. And so as after it passes Earth, right now it's about to pass Earth. So whatever it engaged with as it passed Venus, Mars, the sun, which really activated the solar winds ever since it hooked up with the sun and been on its way here. The sun has been hitting off solar flares like whoa, which is definitely affecting our planet. And this is why we're having these earthquakes, these flooding, these volcanoes. The volcano in Ethiopia that they have not erupted in 12,000 years. Let me say this, and I really probably need to do a video about this. Every 12,000 years, remember that the Yuga cycle is 24,000 years. So every 12,000 years, we're at the halfway mark of the Yuga cycle. And we're just now coming out of the Kali Yuga, which is at let's say the lower end of the Yuga cycle, the Iron Age. And we are now on the ascension. So it's now we're on a 12,000 year ascension to the Golden Age. The Golden Age, which we have not reached yet, right? Even though a lot of people say, oh, we in the Golden Age, we could call it that because we're on the way to that. But in actuality, we're in the Bronze Age. We just left the Iron Age. We're in the Bronze Age. And then there's the Silver Age. And then there's the Golden Age, the Gold Age. So, and that's another 12,000 year mark. So there's something that has been rattling up. Evening, peace, love, and light. Welcome in. Come on in. You know, and let me know your thoughts on that. What you all know. How are you feeling yourself, and what do you know about this 12,000 years of this volcano? Like, it's really, and we're talking about Ethiopia, which all of that is the land of Kemet. So those of you who are Kemetically inclined, I know I'm one of them. I know that's in my ancient DNA because I've been shown taken to the pyramids in meditations. So for those who are Kemetically connected in your ancient DNA, it is waking up your ancient ancestry in you. Something is erupting, and there is something definitely unlocking within this earth. That's not just, oh, a volcano happened to erupt, you know, and that happened just a little bit before we hit what? The 1212 portal. So we're seeing this emphasis of the 12, the cyclical completion, and what is happening in the cycle of time. These are ages within ages, worlds within worlds. Things are overlapping, but it's really for us to understand what is happening with us. What is your part to play in it? And so a lot of that is understanding. Ooh, forgot I had my sage. I have the sage to protect the sacred space and the sacred energy. Right? So this cosmic messenger is, we really have to look and see what is it here to tell us, and what it is unraveling in us and through us. And what is happening with us, whatever we're feeling, is asking us to engage in our own soul unfoldment journey. And what is it that we're here to release and let go? Not just for this timeline, this lifetime, but past lives. A lot of us have chosen to come into this particular lifetime at this particular time as the planets align the way they are aligning, as the cosmos align, to be here during the time of blue star Kachina coming through. Choo choo. To be here when Neptune is leaving its final cycle of Pisces, which it's not going to do for another 160 something years. A lot of us chose to be here at that time to have the opportunity to, as that karmic cycle closes out, to help close out any illusions that we have been living in this lifetime, and any illusions that we may have carried mistakenly, transgressionally, sinfully, iniquitously from our past lives that we may have picked up, and we're ready to drop it off here and now. Here and now, we're ready to let it go. So this Neptune closing out 29 degrees, a lot of us need to be paying attention to that, because after it leaves, that's it. This is the last time that it dipped back, ever since it's been doing this dance back and forth for the past year. This is the last time it's dipping back in at 29 degrees, and now it's going direct. It just went direct on the 10th. Ashe. I think people who think we are, wait a minute, and I didn't bring my glasses. I'm talking about, put y'all comments in here, and I didn't even bring my glasses. So shame on me. I think people who think that we are in the golden age are a little bit delusional. And as you say, we can say that, however, it's more the beginning of the Bronze Age. Yes, and it depends. It depends. Some may actually be delusional, but it's also because of not knowing, lack of knowledge, or, if they hear everybody saying we're in the golden age, they can assume that we're in the golden age because they know we're leaving another age. One thing's for sure, we know that this is an ending to that past age. We know we left the Piscean age. We know we've entered into the age of the Aquarian age, right? That's another stage and age. And then when it comes to the yugas, the Piscean age and the Aquarian age, when we move through those stages, it happens every 2,000 years. We move through those stages, right? And I'd have to go into that deeper in another time. But the yugas, it takes a cycle to go through 24,000 years. And a lot of people, if they don't do their research, they don't really know, and they'll just hear the golden age and think, oh, okay, But it's okay if you understand that we're going into the golden age. And for some people, they may be ahead of time. They may be living the golden age right here and now while they're in the Bronze Age, because some of us can access each of those ages represent a particular way that we're living. So the Iron Age is like the material stage, very, very material. The Bronze Age, which is what we're in now, becomes the energy stage, the stage of energy. That's why everybody is tuning back into energy and recognizing how energy flows. We're moving through energy and understanding that energy is the modality and the motion. And then the Silver Age is the stage of, bring it back to me, spirit, thought. Thank you. Is thought, where things are just as quick as a thought. The energy moves in such a fast motion that it becomes as quick as a thought. And the golden age is spirit. The highest, stage is the stage of spirit. So it's a way in which we are moving through. So, look up the yugas, when you look up the yuga cycle, you could Google it. All of this, we are in the age of the knowing. Anything that I'm telling you right now, you can Google it. You can Google it because you know they say Google is God. Greetings from Oakland. Oh, right. Oakland, California. Peace, love. See, I knew I was going to get the people that's, a couple hours behind because I'm on the far east side. I'm in Florida, so we on the far east side, so our time is a little different. I think it's heavy feminine healing. Yes, it is a lot of feminine healing that's happening right now. A lot of feminine energy is being poured into the planet, which means a lot of receptive activity is what is happening right now. Less action, more, and I'm not saying don't do anything, but less action oriented and more of non-action, or what we call response. Rather than reacting, it's to respond, right? Being able to respond. That is responsibility. Ashe? So the feminine healing is needed right now. A lot of us, even in our families, are being called to heal. I don't mean go in and, put your hands on people, lay hands on them, or tell them what to do. The healing is done within you. What we do within ourselves, we help to heal the bloodline, and we help to, if we can form a sacred union with certain feminine energies within the families, that is definitely going to help the lineage, even if they don't understand what you understand as spirit. Right now, a lot of the goal would be to come together to live in love, to do things out of love. Like for example, today I went to my grandmother's house, which actually is my old childhood house, to help just kind of straighten up. And just by being in the energy there, these are the three women, these are three generations, my grandmother, my mother, and myself. That's three generations of women that were there working together. And so even though they don't know what I know spiritually, just being in this cooperative cohesiveness, together for the love, in love, just helping out, just doing some yard work. Like we were all just in the yard gardening. I brought 2 plants, here you go, put them in the ground. And it's just like, if you can come together like that, and just do something like that, there's something healing about that. Let me put it that way. We don't always have to have a debate and have people understand what we know. Sometimes it's enough to come together, and there's a certain synchronizing, there's a certain integration and synchronizing that's happening within that activity in and of itself, and it unlocks something in the energetic realm. Some of our work is lately, a lot of our work we're going to see is not done with this. It's not always going to be done with words. So a lot of it, for those of us who may be feeling like, what do I do? Like, how do I get them to understand? We're at that point. It's not for us to get them to understand. It's for us to be in our space of what we know is true, doing our work within ourselves, elevating and evolving. And if you can talk to a family member, if you can get some clarity, it does help if there can be some kind of resolve, some type of accountability or reckoning. There's a lot of reckoning that will help now as well. That's why we're seeing that documentary floating around, The Reckoning, The Reckoning. It ain't about Diddy. The message that's being passed out right now, we got to learn to listen to the whispers, the wisdom in the wind. So when you see something happening, I ain't lie, when you see something happening everywhere and it's being magnified, we have to stop and ask ourselves, what does this say to me? What is this energy saying? What is the reckoning? The reckoning is not about the reckoning of Diddy. It is the reckoning of us. What is the reckoning within you? What is the reckoning within the family, within the collective? What do you reckon that is happening? Faithfully, in the reckoning, we're able to shake and break these illusions. And what I want to invite a lot of us to do between now, from now until March, while this cosmic messenger is activating all of us and moving through our ecliptic plane, is to really find as much illusions as you can and break them. The illusions of how we saw everything. This is 5D, y'all. This is 5D. The illusions of how we saw government, politics, how we saw leaders. It's time to do away with those old stories of leaders and look to spiritual leaders. Look to the leader within you. How do you see physicians, doctors? It's time for you to see the physician in you. I'm not saying dismiss anything that get your diagnosis, but do not take their prescriptions. Hear what they're saying and then know how to check it within you. Check your energy centers. What does this say to you? If you have this issue in this particular area, thank you, doctor, for giving me the diagnosis. Now I need to go and sit with myself and see how it is that this is showing up. I need to go knock on my conscious doors, which is my energy centers. Thank you for telling me that I got this issue going on in my digestive system. Now I need to go knock on my solar plexus. Thank you for telling me that I got some kind of blood issue. Now I need to go knock on my root chakra. And if it's a circulatory issue, I also need to knock on my heart chakra door. Knock, knock, knock. We gotta utilize these energy centers. This is not just spiritual hocus pocus. This is not just for shits and giggles. You know, like, oh, I'm learning about this. No, do you know you? Do you know how you portal through these energy centers in you, and that they tell a story about you? That they tell you what's going on. The stars are not just for us to be like, oh, I got my horoscope today, or the astrology forecast says. It is to understand the cosmos in you. What are the cosmos saying when they line up? The planets are celestial bodies. They are energies, just like we're energies. What are these planets saying when they're in a particular house and principle? These houses have principles. The 12 gates are the 12 houses that we cycle through. And each and every energy center and planet is connected to you. All 9 planets are connected to all 9 energy centers. And yes, I said 9 because I'm including the soul star above you and the earth star below. Each one is connected. Ashe. You know, this is what we talk about when I do my energy update meetings. We go deep into this stuff when I do the workshops, especially the workshops, the Divine Chakra Moon workshops, because we talk about the energy centers and how it relates to the celestial bodies. What is it saying to you? Do you know your natal chart? Please know your natal chart. I'm asking I keep seeing 6, so I know that this 6 is a receptivity. Reciprocity, receptivity. Most importantly, 6 is receptive completion. So every one of you that are here are receptive and are working the receptive activity. And I'm saying to each and every one of you, check your natal chart. If you don't know how to look at it, feel free to email me, akilatextry@gmail.com. I do natal chart readings. I can go over with you. I can do an hour session with you if you need an hour. If you need a little bit more time, we can do that too. But know your energy centers. Know your natal chart, because that's what's being activated as well. Find out if you're a mutable, if you have a grand mutable cross, because that is what recently got activated. The grand water trine has been in activation for the past, ever since I think October, we've been in a grand water trine. That's why we've been getting all these floods. within the earth. And the grand mutable cross, we just literally had that cross with the full moon. And our nodes are mutable, are on the mutable cross. So the mutable cross, in case you don't know, are the mutable signs, the four mutable signs, which are Sagittarius, Gemini, Pisces, and Virgo. Check your natal chart to see if you have any placements, and particularly if you have placements in all four, then you have a grand mutable cross in your natal chart, which means you are the shapeshifters, you are the movers, and you're really being led to move at this particular time in a particular way. Ashe. And if the grand water trine would be if you have any placements in Pisces, Scorpio, and Cancer. That is the grand water trine that we've been in, because Jupiter was in Cancer, Saturn and Neptune were in Pisces, as well as the North Node, and Mercury was in is just now leaving Scorpio, I believe. Mercury and Black Moon Lilith, they're just now leaving Scorpio. As they leave Scorpio, then they'll be opening or exiting. That would be the exit of our grand water trine. Ashe. 4-4. Foundational balance, foundational balance. And I was going to say, when I saw the 6, I saw the 4, I saw the 10. There we go. I saw the 6 and the 4, and I was like, ooh, 10, new beginnings. Which is, are we in the new beginnings? Yep, we're in a new beginnings window right now, from the 10th to the 19th. We're also in the 12-12 vortex, from 12-12 to 12-21. So what I would say right now, what can you do? What can you do with all of this looking within? Physically, what can you do right now? Listen to your body. Fast in any way possible that you can. Fast not just from foods, but from activities, behaviors, concepts, old ways of thinkings, anything that you can do to suspend the certain thoughts and the way you used to think and do things. Fast from that while you're in this 9-day vortex. Remove yourself from any low vibrational person, places, or things, and raise your vibration to the highest degree, to the 10th degree, as much as you can. Right? So you can do that. Right? And 10 also says, for those of you who have the 5D calendar, that's our universal year, 2017. When you add up the numbers, it's a 10, which is really a 1. And so when everybody goes into 2026, they're going to be on the 10 joining us. So that's something else to look at. For those who have the 5D calendar, we can get into that some more. And the 5D calendar is also another way that is going to help you get off the old Gregorian timeline. See, we're breaking all of these illusions. They got us in an infinite lock, because the Gregorian calendar put us ahead 8 years. See, that there's so much. All of these things are being broken. We have to be revolutionary. This is why Uranus is also in retrograde in Taurus. I'm going to do a video about that. I'm not even going to go into that right now, because I really got to talk about that separately. But just know that that's the revolutionary planet. And so we have to be ready to do revolutionary things in Taurus, which is Earth. So the Earth is changing, shifting. What are you doing different about your perception of how you see material things and possessions in the Earth? Are we willing to have completely 360 degree, or at least do a 180 if you can't do a 360? But we need to have a complete turnaround, flip upside down, and deprogram from the old patriarchal rule. And we have to do things completely outside of the way we've been constructed and programmed to do things. Ashe. 12/21 is my born day. Ooh, you born on the winter solstice. So when we come out, that is the closing of this vortex, but it's also the winter solstice. So as we come out, it's like we're being birthed into the winter solstice, which is about ego death. That's why they say the sun dies on that day. Winter solstice, they consider that the death of the sun to be born in 3 days. So ego death is what that is all about. And so that suspension is the ego death that we need. Not to get rid of your whole ego. No, no, no. Just the misappropriated ego. The one who's been spinning a narrative for all your unhealed wounds. Wherever you have a hurt, an unhealed wound, you will have a misappropriated ego that vows to protect this wound at all costs. So when you face the wound and you loosen the grip of the wound, and instead of trying to control, to protect, we then release and we begin to have coherency rather than control, right? And with that coherency, we release and we allow rather than blocking. So we let go of that old narrative and say, all right, you know, it's okay, ego. And we allow the wise ego to step in and have us really move on a faith like no other. Because we can't be moving on faith and then holding on to fear. Fear and faith don't go in the same space. Like love and faith don't occupy the same space. Because where there's fear, there's doubt. Doubt is the opposite of faith. Fear is the opposite of love. They don't occupy the same space. So as much as you may want to say you have faith, as long as you have fear, that is the degree of your faith, which is very low. It lowers your degree of faith because of that fear. Hiding it is not going to do it any better. We can't hide with all this light influx and the densities breaking up. We can't even hide anymore. So we have no choice but to go through it and face it and be excited about it. Be happy that we can have this awareness and not feel like a punishment, but to take it and say, you know what? I'm going to find the beauty in this. The beauty is that I can see what's my blockage. I can see what's holding me up, and all I got to do is have this awareness of my divinity in the earth. That's having a strong earth chakra. Ashe. So I'm going to leave that right there as I hear the water trickling down. Glad to be here and have this, what did we just have? A Saturday Night Live. Thanks for living and vibing and doing the Saturday Night Live. I need to get back to sticking to it. If I can't do it every week, maybe every other week, because I got to do this. I'm feel myself going on another hiatus. I'm just showing up when spirit is like, okay, show up now. But I'm feeling a hiatus because the energies are moving through us all, including me. And sometimes we just have to stop and breathe. Breathing is the bridge. So if anything throws you off, just stop and take a deep breath. Breathe in for 4, hold it for 2, and exhale for 6. Or do the 4-4-4 if you can't remember that. Breathe for 4, hold for 4, release for 4, but take a deep breath and cross that bridge to help you find the bridge. So that while this bifurcation is happening, you're walking over a bridge. Allow yourself to bridge to the next timeline. While we're at the land in between, if you don't know what to do, just take a deep breath. Ground yourself. Grounding is going to be the best medicine. For my hypersensitive people, for my hyper super empaths, Heyoka empaths, the 144 ascendants, spiritual leaders, life path number 9, the 369ers, all of that. It's going to help when you ground. Barefoot, sit outside in the earth, get to a body of water, whether it's the ocean or a river, get to the body of water because then you're saying yes to the water, and you're allowing the waters in you to connect with the waters in the earth and allowing the flow of life. Ashe. Yes, give thanks always. Peace, love, light, blessings, and all of that good stuff. Oh, we finally made it to the 7. That's manifestation right there. Return to completion as we're in this whole cyclical completion. So thank you for your shares. Thank you for your love, your hearts, all of that good stuff. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, because they somehow shadow banning and whatnot. But I have a feeling that this is just part of the chosen few. You know, the numbers are really, really low. They haven't really gotten back high where they were. But a lot of times when I look at it, I see even if they're shadow banning or whatever they're doing, because I'm not monetizing any of that, um, it's I see the chosen few being sifted out. So for those who catch it, for those of you who catch it, I know that you're the chosen of the chosen of the chosen few, and we're still being sifted out into fewer of the chosen few, because these are some pivotal times. So kudos, round of applause to all of you that are breaking through and be a part of the community. So when you hear we're having an update, feel free. All the updates are free. Once a month when we have an energy update meeting, is free. You can all come in. We'll have another one this month. So listen out for that. And listen out for the sacral chakra that is going to help us process a lot of the emotional body. That's going to be coming up. That's a 3-day workshop. And that's really going to help us process. Ashe? So with that said, love and light to you all. Peace, love, and light.